Hey, what's going on, guys? Archer Remark here. I'm back with another Star Wars figure review. I have another 6-inch scale Star Wars The Black Series figure. This is the Droid Bounty Hunter IG-88. Very cool figure. We'll show you the packaging real quick just to get that out of the way. You get your bubble there, nice clear bubble where the figure would be. You got a little profile pic there. Star Wars The Black Series. This is figure number 15, IG-88. And Hasbro logo there. Down here, StarWars.com, Hasbro, Disney logos, all that good stuff. And cool image of IG-88 as we see in The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars logo, and again, just figure number 15, IG-88. There's no bio there. So that is the packaging. Let's go on to the figure now. I was, when I first got this guy, I was kind of playing around with him, trying to check out what he can do, and I was a little disappointed, and I have to give a shout out to The Forces with Jesse, because I watched his review before doing this, and watching that, it let me in on some features with the articulation and with the weapons that I wasn't sure about, that I really didn't know about, and makes my how I feel about this figure, it raises it a lot more. It's a much better figure than I was thinking initially until seeing that review. So very cool. Hopefully I can give you a good look here, and you can see Hasbro did, I think, a great job of sculpting all the details, and the paintwork on this is very cool. Silver metal like paint, and you can see all the various wires and tubes and servos and things like that, and it's really well done. There's also this sort of like bronze / brown like paint on various parts of the droid, which give her a nice kind of weathered look, worked in feeling. Hopefully you guys are getting a good look at this guy. You can see all the various details. You get this bandolier strap, which you got this little piece here, which can house 2 of his accessories, and these 2 little exploder mines, whatever they are not removable. Be cool if they were, but oh well, can't have everything. Love the detail on the strap here with the silver on the buckle and all that. Very cool. Okay, now I'm going to go over the articulation. It's a little different than your standard Black Series figure, because just the design of the character is very tall, kind of spindly looking, so you don't get quite the standard articulation that we're used to getting. But articulation is pretty good. It's just different. It's such a different character than they've done before. Now the head is just a swivel and can swivel all the way around. There's no ball joint. There's not. I think this is a good way to go for this character, though. I don't think it really needed a ball joint on this. So, and then you have this piece here, right below, and that moves left and right. So that's all the kind of torso articulation. But you do have this other piece right here. It's almost like a thumb wheel, kind of reminds me of, and it allows the whole top portion to go back a little bit and forward, so that's almost like getting an ab crunch, even though it's a robot or a droid, so it doesn't have abs. But yeah, so they have that articulation there, which is cool. The arms can swivel forward and back, and then hidden right here you have a ball joint, which allows the arms to go in and out, and then just so you got a decent range of motion there. And I like how they try to hide the articulation, because from there, you don't see the articulation point looking at it like that, which is cool. Now here's the part that I didn't know about, and there is, see, this piece right here is like a rubbery material, and there is an elbow joint. It doesn't go a full 90 degrees, but you get that little bit of motion there, and you do get some swivel at that joint. It's a nice ball joint. It'd be nice to get a little more movement, but this is works for what we needed to do. Other than that, there's no like wrist articulation. Well, it doesn't have a wrist, but where the wrist would be, this doesn't swivel or anything like that. But that's okay. So no articulation down in this portion, and then we move on to the legs. Now we have just swivel hips, so they move forward and backward a decent amount. You can get them kicking forward. Good range. Is hindered a little bit on this leg because you have this sort of tubing here, which it's a nice soft material, kind of rubbery material, but does hinder it a little bit because you don't want to stretch it, you don't want to push it too far because you don't want this to break. It doesn't feel super brittle like it would break, but obviously you put enough pressure on anything, it's going to break. So you want to be careful of that, but you still get a decent amount of rotation there. You do have a knee joint right there, just a single joint, and again it's hidden by this piece here, which I like. Just to show you, see both ones, and just to show you, it is hindered a little bit on this leg. So that's a neat point there, and then the feet move just backwards and forwards like that. Just hinge back and forth. There's no ankle pivot or anything like that. Now, as far as standing this guy, I haven't had too much trouble. You do have to kind of balance him a little and just get the feet positioned properly. And you do want, of course, a nice flat surface, because again, he doesn't have that wide stance. You can't, because there's no ball joint. You can't get a wider stance, and the feet. He's just, again, a very tall, kind of spindly kind of character, and I keep saying that a lot, but it's just the way he is. So articulation, like I said, is different than what we're used to seeing, but it's just, this is such a different looking character when it's not really a humanoid character. So it's just some things that just aren't going to be in there. Now he does come with 3 accessories. He has this kind of axe weapon, which is nicely painted and sculpted. Hopefully you can see you have some silver painting there, and you got little nicks on the blade, so this has been used, and again kind of a bronze / brown kind of color here. Now I don't see how he can hold this. I don't think he's really meant to hold this. I don't, that's about all you're gonna do with that. I don't think you could do that, but it can be stored back here. You just right in this loop, and you can put it like that, or you can put it the other way. I like having it the other way so it's not sticking up above his head, but that's just me. That's a personal preference. Okay. Now his other 2 weapons, he has this larger blaster rifle. It's all black plastic. There's no extra paint detail, but it is nicely sculpted. Very cool, and very reminiscent of what we see him holding in the movie. Very cool. And then you have this smaller blaster, which is very similar to the Stormtrooper blaster, which is interesting because the original figure, the original Kenner figure, did come with the Stormtrooper blaster, just the exact same gun that the Stormtrooper figure did. So, but this is a little different. It's sort of a skinnier version. So here, just a comparison. There is the blaster from the Stormtrooper, and this version. So, just to show you there. Now that can also be stored on this back piece here, and it just kind of, you can slip it in there, and so that stores there. Now holding it again is something that I was concerned about. How is he going to hold these? Because his hands are very, well, they're horseshoe like. They're just very open. Now this is something, again, that the Forces with Jesse pointed out in his review. You can see right there's a little hole on each of these weapons. hopefully you can see that. And then right there on both hands are this little peg. So you take the gun and you just position it on the little peg and do the same thing. Just make sure it's lined up, of course, and just so that just pegs in, and now he holds it fine. It's not loose. It's nice and sturdy in his hand. He still stands pretty well. Put the guns even more up. Yeah, this is where you might have a little problem with him standing if he gets a little top heavy, but you know, just position him right and you can get him standing, and you could obviously mix and match. You could put it in either hand, but that was a great thing that Hasbro did, giving us a way for him to hold these weapons. So very cool, and he just looks so neat, just dual wielding these weapons. And just to show you here, him standing next to another bounty hunter. There's him next to Bosk, and I really hope we get the other three, Dengar and Forlom and Zuckuss. I think that would be really cool. We've gotten this far, gotten these two, and of course Boba Fett, and we also got Greedo, who's also a bounty hunter. So it'd be really cool to complete the 6 bounty hunters that we saw in Empire Strikes Back. So overall, a pretty good figure. You know, he may not be essential for everyone because maybe some people just want really main characters, but for people who like the bounty hunters and want to eventually do some sort of like big bounty hunter display, if we get all 6 of those, which would be great, I think it's a great figure to add to your collection. I'm glad I added them to my collection, especially after finding out the extra little details from Jesse's video about, because I was a little down on this figure about the weapons and the elbow articulation. I didn't know about that at first, so that really raised my opinion of this figure. I think it's really good. He's sculpted well. He's painted well. He stands fairly well. A few minor things with the articulation, the hindrance of, you know, with this leg is hindered a little bit, and it would have been good if the elbow joint moved a little bit more, and I think a ball joint on the hips, which would have been good. We could have gotten a wider stance and made it even easier for us to stand these guys. So other than that, I think it's a great figure, certainly worth picking up, in my opinion. But again, each figure, it all comes down to personal preference. So, well, there you go. Star Wars 6-inch Black Series IG-88 figure. Hope you enjoyed this review. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And until my next video, so long, and may the Force be with you.